Imagine being on a cruise ship, and no country will let you step off. Not because of war or politics, but because something unusual is happening on board. In April 2026, 150 passengers sail from Ushuaia on a dream expedition across the South Atlantic. Then, reports start to spread. One by one, ports refuse entry, and the ship is left out at sea with nowhere to go.
For the first few days, everything feels normal. People attend social events, share meals, and enjoy the isolation from the rest of the world. But around the 5th day of the journey, something changes. A 70-year-old Dutch passenger begins to feel unwell. It starts with symptoms that seem harmless, such as fever, headache, and mild digestive discomfort. These are common during long trips, so no one is particularly alarmed. The journey continues as usual, without any major concern among the passengers or crew.
However, within a short time, his condition starts to worsen. His breathing becomes difficult, and his health declines rapidly. What initially looked like a routine illness suddenly turns into something serious. Despite all efforts, on April 11th, the passenger dies on the ship. At this point, there is no clear explanation for what caused his death. It is treated as an isolated incident, and life on the ship continues without any major restrictions or changes in behavior among the people on board. Passengers continue to interact closely. They share food, talk, and spend time in enclosed spaces. Because there is no confirmed threat, no precautions are taken. But unknown to everyone, something invisible may already be spreading among the people on the ship. The close environment, shared spaces, and constant interaction create conditions where even a rare infection can quietly move from one person to another without immediate detection or understanding.
On April 24th, the ship docks at St. Helena, a remote island in the South Atlantic Ocean. The deceased passenger's wife disembarks with his body and begins her journey back home. She travels through South Africa and is about to board a flight to Amsterdam. But suddenly, her health deteriorates. She collapses at the airport. Within a day, on April 26th, she also dies. Now the situation becomes more concerning, as two connected individuals show similar symptoms and outcomes within a short period of time. Meanwhile, back on the ship, more passengers begin to fall ill. On April 28th, a German passenger develops symptoms. Once again, the illness starts mildly with fever and weakness. But over the next few days, her condition worsens significantly. Breathing becomes difficult, and within 4 days, on May 2nd, she dies. Now there is a clear pattern emerging: mild symptoms followed by rapid deterioration and death. This repeated sequence begins to raise serious concern among authorities and health experts.
At this point, the situation cannot be ignored. On May 2nd, the case is reported to the World Health Organization. Health authorities begin investigating the outbreak. Passengers are monitored, and some are evacuated for treatment. The ship faces difficulty docking because different countries are cautious about allowing potentially infected passengers to enter. The uncertainty surrounding the cause of illness makes the situation more complex and tense for everyone involved. Eventually, testing reveals the cause: Hantavirus. This is a virus that most people have never heard of, but it can be extremely dangerous. Unlike viruses such as COVID-19, Hantavirus is not new. It has been known to scientists for decades. The virus was first identified during early outbreaks in the mid-20th century, with its name originating from the Hantan River region where early cases were studied. Hantavirus is not a single virus, but a family of viruses. These viruses are primarily carried by rodents, such as rats and mice. Humans become infected when they come into contact with materials contaminated by these animals. This includes rodent droppings, urine, and saliva.
Even dried droppings can release tiny particles into the air, which can then be inhaled. Once inside the body, the virus begins to spread and affect different organs depending on the type of strain involved. There are two main types of diseases caused by hantavirus. In Europe and Asia, the virus causes hemorrhagic fever with renal syndrome, which mainly affects the kidneys. The mortality rate for this type is relatively lower, usually between 1% and 15%. However, in North and South America, the virus causes a much more severe condition called hantavirus pulmonary syndrome. This form affects the lungs and has a significantly higher mortality rate, sometimes reaching up to 40%.
At first, the symptoms of hantavirus infection are difficult to distinguish from other viral illnesses. Patients experience fever, fatigue, headaches, and muscle pain. This early stage can last for several days, making it difficult to detect the seriousness of the infection. Because of this, many cases are not identified early, and patients may not seek immediate medical attention, which increases the risk of severe complications later in the disease progression. As the disease progresses, the condition worsens rapidly. The lungs begin to fill with fluid, making it difficult to breathe. At the same time, blood circulation becomes unstable, leading to shock and organ failure. One of the most dangerous strains of hantavirus is the Andes virus, which is found in South America. Unlike most hantaviruses, this strain has shown the ability to spread from one human to another, although such transmission remains rare and usually requires close and prolonged contact.
This explains how the virus may have spread on the cruise ship. Some passengers may have been exposed to infected environments before boarding the ship. Since the virus can take several weeks before symptoms appear, infected individuals may not have realized they were carrying the virus. Once on board, close interactions between passengers may have allowed limited transmission, creating a chain of infections that only became visible after serious symptoms started to appear among those affected. How the virus attacks the body. To understand why hantavirus is so dangerous, we need to look at what happens inside the body after infection. Once the virus enters through inhalation, it targets the cells lining blood vessels, especially in the lungs. These cells are responsible for maintaining a barrier that keeps fluid inside the bloodstream. When the virus infects them, it does not immediately destroy them. Instead, it weakens the connections between these cells, making the blood vessels unusually leaky and unstable.
As these blood vessels become leaky, fluid begins to escape from the bloodstream into surrounding tissues. In the lungs, this becomes extremely dangerous. The tiny air sacs responsible for oxygen exchange start filling with fluid. Normally, these air sacs must remain dry so that oxygen can pass into the blood. But when they are filled with fluid, oxygen cannot move efficiently. This leads to severe breathing problems, even though the lungs themselves are not physically damaged in the traditional sense. At the same time, as fluid leaks out of the blood vessels, the overall volume of blood circulating in the body decreases. This creates a condition similar to shock, where vital organs do not receive enough oxygen and nutrients. The heart struggles to pump effectively, and the body enters a critical state. Patients may appear stable initially, but once this stage begins, their condition can deteriorate very rapidly, often within hours, leading to sudden collapse.
One of the most dangerous aspects of hantavirus is the delay between infection and severe symptoms. In the early phase, the illness feels like a common viral infection, with fever, fatigue, and muscle pain. This stage can last between 4 to 10 days. Because the symptoms are so general, it is difficult to identify the disease early. By the time breathing problems begin, the virus has already caused significant internal changes, making treatment more complicated.
Another important factor is how the body's immune system reacts. In some cases, the immune response becomes too strong, causing additional damage. The body tries to fight the virus, but in doing so, it increases inflammation in the blood vessels. This further increases leakage, worsening the condition. Scientists believe that both the virus itself and the body's immune response contribute to the severity of the disease, making it difficult to control once it reaches an advanced stage.
Currently, there is no specific antiviral cure that completely eliminates hantavirus from the body. Treatment mainly focuses on supportive care. This includes providing oxygen, maintaining fluid balance, and closely monitoring vital signs. In severe cases, patients may require mechanical ventilation to help them breathe. Advanced treatments, like ECMO, a technique that oxygenates blood outside the body, can improve survival, but such facilities are limited and not available everywhere. Unlike many other viral diseases, there is no widely approved vaccine for hantavirus available globally. Some countries have developed vaccines for specific strains, but they are not universally used. The main reason is that hantavirus infections are relatively rare compared to diseases like influenza or COVID-19. Because of this, global investment in vaccine research has been limited, although scientists continue to study potential solutions.
In the United States, hantavirus is rare, but not unknown. The most significant outbreak occurred in 1993 in the Four Corners region, where healthy young adults suddenly developed severe respiratory failure. This led to the identification of hantavirus pulmonary syndrome in North America. Even today, sporadic cases appear in rural areas across states like New Mexico, Colorado, and California, usually linked to rodent exposure in cabins, barns, or remote homes.
The spread of hantavirus is closely linked to environmental conditions. Factors such as increased rainfall can lead to a rise in vegetation, which provides more food for rodents. This causes their population to grow rapidly. Despite its high mortality rate, hantavirus is unlikely to cause a global pandemic. The main reason is its limited transmission. Most infections occur through environmental exposure rather than human-to-human spread. Even in the case of the Andes strain, transmission requires close and prolonged contact. According to the World Health Organization, the overall risk to the global population remains low, and outbreaks are usually localized and contained.
The cruise ship incident highlights how rare events can still create serious concern. It shows how delayed symptoms and limited awareness can allow a virus to spread unnoticed in specific environments. It also demonstrates the importance of quick reporting, testing, and coordinated response between countries. Even though the situation did not turn into a large-scale outbreak, it serves as a reminder of how vulnerable isolated environments can be to infectious diseases.
Since there is no widely available cure or vaccine, prevention remains the most effective strategy. This includes avoiding contact with rodents, keeping living spaces clean, and properly storing food. In areas where rodent exposure is likely, protective measures such as masks and gloves can reduce risk. Simple actions such as sealing entry points in homes and maintaining hygiene can significantly lower the chances of infection. Hantavirus is a silent threat. It does not spread easily, and it does not appear in headlines often. But when it does appear, it can be deadly. The cruise ship incident is not just about a rare outbreak. It is a reminder that even today,
there are diseases we do not fully understand. And sometimes, the most dangerous threats are not the ones that spread the fastest, but the ones that go unnoticed.